Good morning, friends. We are learning our subject, that is data mining 3160714, and in that we are learning chapter 3, that is concept description and association rule mining. Let us recall of our last lecture, that is we have seen applications of concept description and data mining. We have seen the association rule mining, right? And for that we have seen the applications. Fine, let us proceed further. So now we want to know about a priori algorithm. The a priori algorithm is an influential algorithm for mining frequent item sets for Boolean association rules. Key concepts, they are frequent item sets. What it says, the sets of item which has minimum support denoted by Li for ith item set. Frequent item set, how do we find? That is, the support of that item set is greater than or equal to minimum support, isn't it? Those items are called the frequent item sets, isn't it? A priori property. This is the very important property for this algorithm. What it says, any subset of frequent item set must be frequent. What does that mean? It means that if I say that bread and butter, if I say these two items, that is the combination of these two items, and this what we say is two item set, isn't it? Two item set items, they are bread and butter, they can be frequent only if its subsets are frequent. That means bread is frequent and butter too is frequent. Then only we can say pair, that is bread and butter, two item set is frequent. Are you getting that? If single items are frequent, then only their pairs can be frequent. Otherwise, it cannot be, isn't it? If I say that I want to consider, say, third item, I mean to say that three item set. For example, say bread, butter, and cheese. If we want to consider this three item set, how can we say that they are frequent? They can be frequent only if all of its subsets, I say all of its subsets are also frequent, right? So in this case, we can say all these subsets, that means bread, butter, bread, butter, then butter, cheese, and What else? Bread, cheese, right? Bread, butter, these two pair. Then after bread and cheese. Then after what we say is bread and cheese, right? These two, then these two, and after this first and this last, right? See, all items in the pair, that is the subsets, they must be frequent, isn't it? So, what to do? What to do for that? We can say if any one of this subset is not frequent, we cannot have the combination of these three items as frequent, right? So there is a condition that if we want this three item set, that is the combination of three items is frequent only if its subsets are frequent, right? So the meaning of this a priori property, I guess you understand, right? So what next is the third thing is what we want to know about a priori algorithm is this join operation. What is that? Join operation, it says to find LK. To find LK, a set of candidate K item sets is generated by joining LK minus 1 with itself. What does that mean? That means that, let me put it here. Let me put this example also here so you can see that fine properly. Otherwise, the formatting will be disturbed, isn't it? So let us put it this way so we can understand. Yeah. Join operation, right? This is what we want to understand. What do we say for that? Here, to find LK, let me say that we want to consider three item set. We want to find three item set, that is, say this one. Let me show you that. Fine. This three item set. Bread, butter, and cheese, right? Now, how we can get this? This is LK, right? This is LK. We are saying that a set of candidate K item sets is generated by joining LK minus 1 with itself, right? That is, LK minus 1 is this one. Previous item set. This is three item set. This is two item set, right? And how to get this three item set? That is, we have to join this one, right? The items will be joined with itself to get the three item set. Itself, that means this is one, right? It is part of what? It is part of L2. That is Lk minus 1. Now what we have to do is, here we are having this 1, 2 and 3 total elements, right? Now from this, we have to join, that means we have to combine them to create 3-item set. Fine. Now what we can do from here? Let us say that combine here bread, butter and butter cheese. So let us combine and it will say bread, butter and cheese. Now if we consider this and this one, there also bread, butter and cheese is there, right? So this way we have to work. Fine. Let us proceed. So what we understood is for a priori algorithm, 3 key concepts are there. One is frequent item set, that is the sets of item which has minimum support, right? It has minimum support, that means the support of item set must be greater than or equal to the minimum support. Second is a priori property, at any subset of frequent item set must be frequent. And the third one is join operation, that is to find LK, a set of candidate K item sets is generated by joining Lk minus 1 with itself, right? So these are the key concepts of a priori algorithm with which we will generate the rules. Fine. So let us see. Now, what more we say, the a priori algorithm in a nutshell, what do we say? Is find the frequent item sets. The item sets, what do we say? That have minimum support. A subset of our frequent item set must also be frequent item set. See, the things which we have just seen about the key concept, for that only we are looking at. Fine. If AB, I have given you the example. The thing is given here. If AB is a frequent item set, both A and B as an individual should be frequent item set. Iteratively find frequent item set with cardinality from 1 to K item set. Use the frequent item sets to generate association rules. Fine. So how do we generate the frequent item set? Let us see that first of all, null is there, right? After that, let us say that we are having 5 items. They are A, B, C, D and E. Now, how to proceed further? For that, we can say we'll combine A and B, A and C, A and D, A and E, and again B and C, B and D, B and E. What did we say is we can generate the LK item set with the items of LK minus 1 item sets and joining with itself, isn't it? So that's what we are saying. Now, if we start with C, C, D, C, E, D, E, isn't it? So this way we can generate, we can see that AB, AC, AD, AE, BC, BD, BE, CD, CE and DE. Okay. ABC. Combine these two, it is ABC. This is ABD, ABE, ACD, ACE, ADE. Right? We can understand. We are combining the items from this. Okay? Say AB and AC, so we'll be able to get the ABC. AB and AD will be getting it as ABD. That way, ABE, that means we can say AB and AE, right? And here, whatever items are there, we'll combine them to get the 4-item set. And after all these 4-item set, when we combine, we'll be getting the 5-item set, and that is A, B, C, D, and E, right? So hope you understand how we generate the frequent item set. Fine. We just have to combine the item set at k-1 level, combine them, join them, and we can have the next level, that is LK item set. Fine. For that, the a priori property is the condition, that is, we can say, if AB is frequent, the condition is A and B both must be frequent, isn't it? So, the basic is this one. Fine. Now, in the words, we can say the pseudocode, right? We can write the pseudocode and we can explain that the concept remains same. Fine. Concept remains same what we have seen about the key concept. This is only we are representing it in the pseudocode, right? Let us check it out. LK. LK is a set of frequent item sets of size K with minimum support. CK is set of candidate item set of size K, potentially frequent item sets. L1 is equal to frequent items. For K is equal to 1, LK is not 5, K plus plus. Do what to do? See, K plus 1, that is equal to candidates generated from LK, that is previous LK, right? What we do is, for each transaction T in database do, increment the count of all candidates in C K plus 1 that are contained in T. LK plus 1 is equal to candidates in CK plus 1 with minimum support, and return union of KLK, right? What do we say is that we have to find the count. Whole database we are scanning, we are finding the count of all the candidates. Whatever are the item, we are finding the count of all the candidate items, right? We are not saying only items, because at first level we can say individual items are there, then after we are having the candidate item set. Now, why are we saying here as candidate item set and for LK frequent item set? It is because candidate item set is the set where we can say they can be potentially frequent. They need not be frequent. Are you getting that? See, bread, butter, and cheese. We can say bread is frequent, butter is frequent, but cheese may not be frequent. But, what we do is we consider the count, and the count we are checking, we are finding that these 3 items are there. That is the candidate set, right? That is the candidate set when we have found that the support count of that particular item or item set. At first level, it is 1 item set when we are having individual items, right? So, in the next step, 2 item set, that means the 2 items are therein. For that, when we do not know that whether they are frequent or not, we can say they are potentially frequent. But if we have checked that they have crossed the minimum support, we can say they are the frequent item sets. Right? So the same pseudocode is there. What we do is we join. We join, isn't it? We join using, what do we say is, CK is generated by joining LK minus 1 with itself, and prune step is any K minus 1 item set that is not frequent cannot be a subset of frequent K item set. If cheese is not frequent, it will not be combined with bread, butter, and cheese. What I mean to say, right? We'll see the example. You can be clear with the things. Fine. Let us see. The example is given here. What is there in it? Here, the transaction database is given. That is the database where we are having the transaction. As we know that transaction can be having the transaction ID. In this example, it is given. Okay. So, TID, that is what is transaction ID. Okay. Transaction ID. Now, what do we say? 100, 200, 300, 400. Okay. 4 transactions are there. Fine. And for items, we say that in 100, we are having 1, 3, and 4. You are habitual of looking at the items. They are, say, bread, butter, cheese, wafer, kurkure, right? It is not always in the form of the string items. It can be, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It can be 1, 2, 3, 4. In the string, if you are putting 1, then it is also one item, isn't it? So the way the example is given, do not confuse with that. It is item only. Fine. Okay. So what items are there in transaction 100? That is 134. For 200, it is 235. For 300, it is 1, 2, 3, 5. And for 400, it is 2 and 5. Right? Now, what we have to do is, we have to scan this database. Then, what should we do is, we will generate the candidate set. Candidate set, that means from all these items, what is one item set? For one item set, we can say it is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right? For all these items, we will calculate this support. What is this support? Support count we will find. Right? Now, support count for 1. Let us check it out in this transactions. How many times 1 is there? Let me move my mouse and show you. Here 1 is there, right? So count is 1. Count is 1. Here 1 is there? No. Count is 1. For this one, 1 is there. So now count is increased, and that is 2. Fine. So for 1, the count is 2. Now we are looking at the fourth transaction. 1 is not available. Fine. So the count of 1 is 2. The count of 1 is 2. Fine. What is given for minimum support? For minimum support, it is given as 50%. 50%, that means 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 transactions are there. So 4 multiply by 50%. That means it is equal to 2. Let me show you that. Here it is given that the minimum support is 50%. minimum support is 50 percentage. And now the transaction, that is the number of transactions, that is equal to 4, right? That is equal to 4. So what happens? That is 50 percentage multiply by 4. So that will be equal to 2. Yes or no? Yes. 50 percentage, that means 50 divided by 100 multiply by 4. So that will come to 2. Now what this gives us? This gives us that minimum support count, that should be equal to 2, right? This is minimum support count, right? What is given? Minimum support is 50 percentage. Number of transactions, that is equal to 4. So what do we get is 50 percentage multiplied by 4 is equal to 2. And that is the minimum support. Fine. So what should we do is, we should check whether the items are having this support count or not. If it is having greater than or equal to this minimum support, then we can say the item is frequent, right? Then we can say the item is frequent, right? So the way we have counted the 1, let us count for 2 so you can have the idea, right? So for 2, 2 is available here? No, the item count is 0 for 2. Here 2 is there. So item count is increased. For 2, it is 1. After that, we can say here the count is increased, and that is 2, right? Now again the count is increased, and that is equal to 3. Fine. So 1, 2 and 3, right? So the count of 2 is 3. Fine. Same way, we can say we'll find the item count, that is support count of 3, 4 and 5, right? Support count of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this is candidate item set, right? This is candidate item set. Now what we have to do is, we have to find the frequent item set. How to find the frequent item set? So for that, we can say the candidate item set, if they cross, or you can say if they are greater than or equal to the minimum support, then only we can say they are frequent, right? Then only we can say they are frequent. Fine. So for that, here we can say the count, what we have found, that is the minimum support must be 50%. That is what we have said. I have just told you that it is 2, right? Here, the minimum support count should be 2. Fine. So that's what we want to do here. Check it out. For 1, it is 2. So greater than or equal to 2? True. For 2 greater than or equal to 2? Yes. For 3 greater than or equal to 2? Yes. But for 4, it is not greater than or equal to 2. So, this candidate item will be removed from L1, that is frequent item set. Fine. For 5, it is greater than or equal to 2. So, it will cross the minimum support. And so, it will be there in the frequent item set. Hope you are getting. C1 is candidate set, where potentially frequent items also we can put, but L1 is the frequent item set, and so we can say the item sets which are greater than or equal to minimum support, those only will be there in that, right? So the way you should represent your example is in this way only, that is transaction database, scan the database, have the candidate set items, then check for minimum support and remove the not frequent items and give L1. Fine. And give the L1. Fine. Now what we have to do is we have to combine these items and have the C2, that is potentially frequent. They can be frequent, they cannot be. We do not know. We are just combining these item sets to get the combination. Fine. So here 1, 2, let us combine 1, 3, 1, 5, 2, 3, 2, 5, 3, 5. Right? So these are the item sets. Fine. This is C2, right? This is C2. Now proceed further. What do we say is, where we are saying that the minimum support is not greater than or equal to the support of this particular item is not greater than or equal to minimum support, we will remove them, right? So here we are marking that 1 and 2 is having the support count as 1. Now what we have to do for counting this support, that is we have to find the pair 1, 2 in this transaction. Let us check it out. 1, 2 is there in this one? No. 1, 2 is there in this one? No. 1, 2 is there in this one? Yes. So 1 is this support of 1, 2, right? Here 1, 2 is there? No. So support count of 1, 2 remains 1 only, right? For 1, 3. 1, 3. So count is 1. 1, 3 is there? No. 1, 3 is there? Yes. 1 and 3 is there. So count is 2. 1, 3 is there? No, it is not there. So count of 1 and 3 is 2, right? Now we have to count for all these items, whatever candidate sets we have considered. For all of them, we are finding the support count. Then now we have to find the frequent item set for these candidates at C2. So what do we do for that? We have to check the support should be greater than or equal to 50 percentage, right? That is support count should be greater than or equal to 2. Fine. So here we can mark the items which does not have the support, which is greater than or equal to 50 percentage, right? That is support count is 2. So we'll mark this. This is 1 only, so which is less than minimum support count. Remove this, right? And so we can say for item set which we are taking from here, The support we are getting is 2, 2, 3, 2, which are greater than or equal to the minimum support, right? Which is greater than or equal to the minimum support. Fine. After that, we'll be having the C3, that is the candidate set items which can be potentially frequent, right? Which is potentially frequent. They are frequent or not, we have to check it out, right? So when we combine all these items, we can say we can be having, say, 1, 2, 3. You can say 1, 3, 5. You can say 1, what else? 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, right? These three can be there. So, why only 2, 3, 5 is written? Something wrong should be there, isn't it? No. Recall the a priori property. Recall the a priori property, which says that K item set can be frequent only if its all subsets are frequent, right? Its all subsets are frequent, right? So we can say for 1, 2, 3. For 1, 2, 3, we can say 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, all must be frequent. But can we find 1, 2 here? If we say 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2 should be there, 1, 3 should be there, 2, 3 should be there, right? For 1, 2, 3 in C3, all of its subset must be frequent, which is not the case. Why not the case? Because 1, 2 is not frequent. So 1, 2, 3 cannot be frequent, right? And so we are not including 1, 2, 3 in the candidate set. C3. Fine. So now for C3, what we have to do is scan it to check whether the item set is frequent or not. Fine. So for that, scan it, check it out, the item count, and where it is crossing the minimum support, that only becomes the frequent. So now we can say we can find 2, 3, 5 is having the support count as 2. Fine, is having the support count as 2. So what? So 2, 3, 5 is frequent item set in L3. Now, can we proceed further? Can we have the L4? Do we have some more item sets in this L3? No. We have only one item set in this L3. So can we combine? Can we join it with somebody else? It is not at all available. So how to join with other? Right? So what do we say is, this is the last item set which we can generate, right? We cannot proceed further as we do not have any other item set with which we can join and generate next level candidate set. Are you getting this? This is the very simple example of a priori algorithm, and this will be asked in your mid paper or in your final exam with at least 7 marks, right? In final exam, 7 marks. In mid exam, at least 4 to 5 marks must be there, right? So take care of it. We do have one more item, say 135 is also not considered as part of C3 because a priori property is not satisfied. A priori property is not satisfied. According to a priori property, 135 can be part of C3 only if all of its subsets are part of L2 frequent two item set, isn't it? That is 1335 and 15 must be part of L2, which are not. Fine, which are not. Same way, 123, as I told you, is also not part of C3 because 1323 are part of L2, but 1, 2 is not part of L2. That is not frequent, so it cannot be part of the C3. Fine? So this is very simple a priori algorithm. How to generate the candidates? That is, what we do is, we combine the item sets. Whatever is available at k minus 1 item, we combine them, we join them to generate Lk, and we check whether the a priori property is set or not. If it is satisfied, then only we put that item into next level candidate item set. Fine? So let us see example of generating candidates. We have seen in the example, just small examples so you can be clear with that. Let us see. Suppose L3. L3, that means 3 item set, frequent item set, isn't it? 3 item set, that means 3 items are being considered in it and they are frequent. Okay. How 3? This is A, B, C. So 3 items are there. A, B, D. 3 items are there. A, C, D. 3 items are there. Fine. So 3 items are combined and they are there in L3. Fine. Generating C4, that is candidate we now want to generate, that is of 4th level. That means 4 items must be there in that item set. Fine. Okay. So what to do? A, B, C, D from A, B, C and A, B, D. Let us consider two items and try to generate the 4th item set. Fine. So let us see A, B, C and A, B, D. So what we can say is A, B, C, D, right? When we combine these two, we can say we can have A, B, C, D. See, we cannot say A, B, C, D, right? What we are doing is, if we are writing A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, that means 5 items are there. What we have to do is, we have to combine 2, 3 item sets and generate next level candidate key only, right? That is, you can say this 3 combine and generate 4 item set. Fine. So A, B, C, D from A, B, C and A, B, D. Fine. Then after A, C, D, E from A, C, D and A, C, E. Fine. So this way we can generate the C4 from L3. Fine. How to do the pruning? That is, we can say A, C, D, E is removed because A, D, E is not in L3. Fine. A priori property. We are checking the a priori property. We are not putting it this ACDE in C4. Why? Because ACDE is not frequent. Why not frequent? We haven't yet checked for its support count. How can we say? We can say it from the a priori property that ACDE can be frequent only if all of its subsets are frequent. That means ACD, ACD, CDE, ACE, all must be frequent in L3. Is it there? ABC, sorry, ACDE, ACD is there. Okay, ACD is there. Then ACE is also there. But can we find CDE? It is not available here. So we can say that ACD is removed because ADE is not in L3. Even CDE is also not there in L3. So we say that ACDE is removed from what? C4, right? So what we do is we combine the L3 frequency set and generate C4, but for that we need to check whether the subsets of that all are frequent or not. If they are all not frequent, we cannot consider that item set in C4. Fine. So now how to discover the rule? If we are having the three item set, that is I1, I2, I5. Now what to do? We have to combine all of them and we should have the rules. That is I1 and I2 implies I5. I1 and I5 implies I2. Use the same items and have the relation that say two items implies third one item and implies two items. That also is possible. But here the relation is intersection. It is not union, right? The way we are having the rules here, that is I1 and I2 implies I5. I1 and I5 implies I2. I1 implies I2, I5, right? That is I2 and I5. So from this, whatever possible combinations are there, we are listing out the rules. Are they all accepted? That we need to check. How to check it? By finding the confidence of that rule, and if the rule is crossing the minimum confidence, that means if the confidence of this rule is greater than or equal to minimum confidence, then only we can accept that rule. Fine. Then only we can accept that rule. Fine. So let us check it out. If confidence of A implies B, that means what? Support of A and B divide by support of A is greater than or equal to minimum confidence, right? Then only the rule is accepted. Fine. For example, the confidence of this apple implies beer. The picture you can understand. That is equal to support of apple and beer divided by support of apple. Can't we write beer here? No, we cannot, because the formula says that this implies this. That means both items combined divided by the first item, right? What first item? That means whatever item is there before this implies sign, right? First item doesn't mean, say here we are having 2-3 items, we just have to pick first, right? First item is only the item which is before this implication sign. So whatever is there here, right? All of them we need to consider, and that is support of this one. Fine. If it is crossing minimum confidence, then only we can say that the rule, that is apple implies beer, is accepted. Fine. Okay. So that's all for today.